UTSA head coach Derek Pittman, joined today by senior forward Izzy Lane. Crucial week for the Roadrunners in conference play, sitting in a tie atop the league standings at 6-2 and 2 and 2-0 in American play. Going on the road first to face a UAB team that's already produced 2 ties. UTSA is also back at home on Sunday against Charlotte for a busy week in conference action. We've got Izzy Lane with us, who hit the game winner in the 82nd minute against North Texas to keep the Roadrunners perfect in conference. Welcome, Izzy. Coach, can you get us started recapping the big win over North Texas and preview your thoughts on what lies ahead for the Roadrunners?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Michael. It was a big week for us. It's always a big match when we play against North Texas. It was great to have an incredible, group of fans out. Thank you to the Classics Elite Soccer Club here in town for supporting us, coming out in droves to be able to get behind our team and our program. It was great to have over 1,100 people there to cheer us on. It was a typical, North Texas game, in my opinion. I thought we started the game exceptionally well. They came out in a little bit of a different shape. We were able to play around that, find some different spaces. I thought our wingers, specifically Emily Ekman and Izzy, got themselves involved very quickly into the right spaces to be able to create opportunities. And I thought we were a bit unfortunate not to score a first-half goal to be up at halftime. But North Texas changed in the second half to match us in our shape, which, again, took a little bit of time to adjust. But again, we stuck to our game plan. We were disciplined in our defending to keep them down to 3 or 4 shots in the game, as well as being able to create opportunities ourselves going the other direction. And it was off of our defensive pressure, off of our pressing, which is something that is a staple of what we do, that we were in the right positions, and Izzy was able to capitalize by intercepting a pass and being able to finish a great goal for us to be able to get the results, here at home in front of our fans. So 3 points in the league play is always going to be massive when you only got 10 games, so you got to get every point that you possibly can. And that's where our attention is right now as we prepare for a really, tough road trip at UAB on Thursday. That's where our focus is. They played very well against Memphis on the road to be able to get a draw, as well as they've already had a draw against Rice, who's top 25 in the country. So, yeah, we know what we're up against. UAB is playing well right now. We expect nothing less when we show up at their place on Thursday night, and hopefully put in another top performance before we come home on the weekend to host Charlotte on Sunday.
Go ahead, Terrence, with your questions.
Coach, as far as UAB's style of play is pretty much the same.
Yeah, UAB is a very good possession-oriented team. They want to build out of the back. They want to play through the lines. They want to, methodically move up the field and create opportunities. They're not looking for maybe 20 shots a game like maybe a North Texas team might have been doing. They're looking for 4 or 5 really quality chances to be able to score 2 or 3 of them. So they're going to be patient. They're going to move it into the right areas that they think that they can exploit, their opponent and be able to create the chances that they have. So they're a good team. They move the ball well. We know that it'll be a great test, their possession versus our pressing. And then ultimately the transitional moments that will happen, once each team turns the ball over, which will inevitably happen. We just need to be able to put ourselves in the right places to stop their attack and ultimately punish them going the other direction.
Go ahead, Terrence.
As a coach, obviously you won 4 in a row. Have a lot to be proud of. I guess being on the road, does that kind of help? Coming off a rivalry match that was hard fought, more focus, being on the road and things like that.
I think our team would say we'd much rather be at home, playing in front of our fans here at Park West. We're very fortunate to have just a tremendous, following and supporters group that we have here at UTSA that come out and support the ladies and the fans that we have. I know also, though, our players are prepared for what they're going to experience on the road. We talk about it all the time. It's a business trip. We need to go in there, get the job done, focus on putting in a positive performance and hoping to come away with 3 points. But at the end of the day, we know that anytime we go on the road in this league, it's always going to be difficult. UAB has some top players that we know are going to be an absolute handful. Abby Burns, I believe Avery Berryman, Jet Zimmer, again, countless other players that are really difficult to deal with. Their field is massive. They try to spread you out. They try to make you chase and go all over the place. So, it's going to be important for us to be focused on what our game plan is and go out and execute it to the best of our ability. But I promise you, we'd much rather be playing all of our games at Park West. It's a lot more enjoyable.
This is for either one of you. I guess there's different aspects to the game as far as the physical, the skill, the emotional, the mental. I guess mentally, I guess that's something you've been maybe preaching more this year with the younger team, and maybe kind of looking at maybe past seasons where you have 3 points, you wind up tying late, and those difference between making a tournament and not.
Well, I want Izzy to be able to jump in. I think the biggest thing for us, Terrence, is we know that our third year now in the league, every opponent is difficult. Every match is going to be intense. Every match you're going to get somebody's best effort and their best shot. And it's important that we come to the table with our best as well. And so, again, whether that's mental, emotional, physical, even technical side of things, we know that we need to go out and execute the game plan to our absolute best and be bought into what that looks like and ultimately go out and put our best performance. But in the day, these ladies are extremely talented. We want to put them in the best places for them to be successful, and they've been doing a phenomenal job. So I'll turn it over to Izzy, and she can kind of answer it from her perspective as a player.
I think mentally as well, like one thing we always do, regardless of whether it's a good game, technically, tactically, whatever, one thing we always do is we always go into every tackle hard, and that's one thing, that's why our team value called grit. So I think just that, and having even from the bench, having the support. So I think that's one thing that we're doing well mentally, but regardless of the score, everything, we know one thing, the other team isn't going to want to play us again because of how hard we play. So I think that's going to help us through.
How much is that kind of maybe started?
And go back to what I said in the intro. Obviously, that was, the game winner against North Texas. It was a big shot. Where would you put that on the biggest shots in your career personally?
It's probably the best one, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't realize until I watched it back like how far it was. So I guess it's probably my best one.
She scored some big goals in her days, but that was a huge game winner and a huge effort on her part. It was a massive goal for sure.
I think just with also being our rivals and like being our runners one game, and just it's a very important game. That was our most important game so far. So I think it's probably the best one.
With how that play unfolded, could you run us down what you saw? Because obviously you're getting an interception there, and then you are just going 1v1 on that. What did you see as that play unfolded out on the pitch?
Well, obviously it started with Leah pressing out, so that's like what we aim to do, is just put them under pressure. So obviously then it led her to making a bad pass, and I just knew I had a lot of space, because I intercepted it, and I knew there wasn't anyone behind me, so I knew I had a little bit more time than I would normally have. And honestly, I thought I was way closer to the goal than I was when I shot it. When I watched it back from the bird's eye view, I didn't realize how far it was. So I was originally looking for BB when I took my touch, and then she disappeared behind however many players, and then I just shot, and then I thought it was going out, and then it was going in. So.
Go ahead, Terrence, with your question.
Izzy, my final question. You were talking about the mental side of the sport. How much, as far as the team, did it kind of started in the summer when y'all are there by yourselves and have to work out?
I think honestly, like in the summer, it was a good opportunity for us to all get closer and like get on the same page of like, this is a team sport. Whether you're on the bench, whether you're coming off the bench, whether you're not able to play yet, or even just the staff, like I think we've really got on the same page at being a team sport and just all having the same mindset as like literally run as one or hunt as one. Like we're all one team together, and everyone has an impact, and everyone's keep going to the last minute. Like even after FAU and the last game, when we both scored in the like last 10 minutes of the game, after the game that was the hardest 8 minutes I've ever played in my life, and then we did it again the next week because we were just all relentless and trying to just keep on to that win.
Well, we may recap some of this stuff, but we have a new attendee to the the conference. Rylan, what do you got for us this morning?
Yeah, Coach, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about how you feel your team has played through 2 games of conference play. Obviously, you're 2-0, so you've done something right. But can you just go into a little bit of specifics, kind of what you've liked from your team so far?
Yeah, thanks, Rylan. Appreciate you jumping on. No, really happy with where the group is at. We know that we're not a finished product at this point, and so we talk all the time as a team is that how do we keep taking the next step forward? We've proven throughout the first 10 games, if you will, so far, first 8 games as we were going into conference play, that we're a very good defensive team. We're very organized. We're talented in our press. We're difficult to break down, and Izzy's touched on it. We have a tremendous amount of grit and toughness within our group to go out and compete for every situation. So that's a staple. That's a cornerstone of our program and who this team is right now. And I've said it countless times. Like, this team doesn't care who gets the credit. Izzy got the game winner. Obviously, it's against North Texas. Aaliyah Durden got the game winner against FAU. We've had other players step up in key moments to be able to get big-time goals or make big-time blocks. I mean, even at the end of the game against North Texas, Izzy Peters steps in and plays some tremendous minutes for us. Leah Varella's, on the ground and finds a way to block their final shot. And Cam closes winning headers, etc. Haley Lopez steps in and gives us valuable minutes. We've got countless players that are stepping up in key situations, and it's just a full credit to our players' selfless mentality to go out and just do whatever it takes in the moment to help the team. And if that's to give us 5 minutes so that somebody else can have a break and step back on the field, great. If it's for 10, 15, 20, 60, 70, 80 minutes, whatever that role is, we've had players, again, Riley Miller, I should say, stepped in and was fantastic in Talia Spain's absence, playing 90 minutes. Kennedy Reed stepped in and gave Casey Grauman quality minutes and did a fantastic job. So we can just go on and on and on. Adio Kelly was tremendous in the midfield for us. There's just so many different examples, to be honest with you, Rylan, of players stepping up in key moments and giving us quality minutes and just going out and executing their job and what we need them to do in that moment that's going to ultimately help the team be successful. I do think our attack is getting better and better and better. We're getting much more comfortable and on the same page with where players are going to be in transitional moments so that those players can be successful when they go on the attack. And I thought, some of our best soccer that we've played in my time here and for sure this season was against North Texas, throughout that entire game. And it showed when we had the opportunity to ultimately pull off the winner and get the result.
Izzy, for you, obviously being a part of last year's squad, I'm kind of remembering how last year ended. Does that kind of factor in a little bit to this year? Like, how was the way last season ended? Is it motivating you a little bit more? Does that kind of linger as you guys enter conference play? Obviously, you're trying to reach new heights this season. So can you just talk about that a little bit?
I think last season, we were a very good team, and this one we're just slightly better, but it's not necessarily skill wise, it's more mindset. I think last season, and I can't speak on the season before, but we've just always been this close. We were always 1-0 or 0-0. We were always so close to winning. It was never a case of we're a bad team and we're getting smashed every time. So I think this time we just want it even more. It's not necessarily we didn't want it, but we just want it even more than last year. And I think with us scoring goals and actually seeing that we can do it, because I remember even at the end, I wasn't sure. I was like, damn, it's gonna be 0-0. Then I heard Rob shout, "Find a way to win." So then I just thought, no, we can actually win this. So I think that's probably the only difference is there's a little bit more belief in ourselves that we can win every game. And obviously we've shown that in the first 2 games. So hopefully we can continue that on.
Coach, do you kind of have I usually ask this to almost any coach that I talk to. What do you feel now that we're entering conference play? Do you kind of have a semblance of what your ceiling for this team is, or do you think you have a ceiling? How far do you think this team can go? Not even in conference, but even in the NCAA tournament, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, I'm so focused on UAB right now. What the next game we talk about the next most, the most important game of our season is the next one, and that's where our heads are at. I understand your question. I definitely believe that this team has the capability of competing for a conference championship. And, we know that our players are going to prepare themselves and ultimately get themselves ready to go out and perform each and every night. And they've done that for the last, 10, 12 games, if you include the exhibitions, and done a phenomenal job of competing with some of the best opponents in our league. Again, going back to what we've learned from the past couple of years is that we know every game's going to be tight, and every game just takes a little bit more. And when you think you've given all you've got, we got to dig deeper and be able to find a little bit more. And to Izzy's point, we got to find a way to win, find a way to keep executing the game plan, but do what other teams won't. And that's been a big, huge cornerstone of this team and kind of foundation, is that we're going to give everything we absolutely have, and the opponents are going to walk away going, I don't want to play them again, because they know that they're going to be in every tackle, every battle, every 50-50 ball, every aerial duel. We're going to be relentless in our pursuit to be able to get the job done. And so as long as we keep that mindset, as long as we keep that, attitude and effort at the forefront of what we're doing and staying humble and hungry for more, because we aren't a finished product, I think this team has a real shot to compete for a conference championship. And that's been our goal from the get-go. And then after that, who knows what the NCAA will bring. But we know that we've played against the likes of TCU, Houston early in the year. We know that we're going to get shipped off to play against a top team in the state of Texas, Texas Tech, Baylor, A&M, wherever it may happen. We just want that opportunity. And I know that our players will relish that opportunity, if and when it comes.
Scaling back then from my last question, what kind of sticks out about UAB? What have you guys noticed so far about them?
Yeah, I've touched earlier, but they're just a very possession-oriented team. They're probably one of the better possession-oriented teams in our league. They're patient. They're methodical. They're going to try to build through the lines. They're going to try to find little openings with little short passes and movements to be able to spring, their top players free. We've got to make sure that we pay attention to the likes of Abby Burns, Avery Berryman, Jet Zimmer, even Layla Stewart, who's a talented winger. We've got to make sure we keep them in check and do what we've been doing all season long, which is, negating the other team's attack. And if we can do that, then we're going to be able to put ourselves in a position to, pull off a result on the road on Thursday night.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it, Rylan. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. And thank you, Coach. And thank you, Izzy, for coming on. It's going to be a busy week for the Roadrunners, a lot to prove. And we'll get those games out of the way, and we'll see everybody back here next week.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you. Birds up.